Hello again and welcome to another tutorial video as an add-on to our SciFi City Construction Set number 3. Um, Today I'm just going to show you how you can optimize your workflow to add a bit more detail but with less hassle. So as you can see on my screen, this is pretty much like the scene that we built in tutorial 1. The only thing I've done here is I've added two ships and over the city that are just flying over, so nothing in specific. Actually, two of my ships that you will find in my Renderosity store. So one is the Cherokee and the other one is the Rapita. Okay, so as I've shown you in the first tutorial, there's actually an option to group things together and then save them separately so you can modify that stuff. So I'm going to show you how that actually works. Let me just move to my test runtime so I can just show you what I do. So here's the holder that you got with your package. So load an empty holder into the scene. And what I want to do today is actually I would like to mount the space platform that you will also find in my store to this building here, right there at the top, or maybe somewhere here on the side, and have a ship landing on that. And I would like to add this to the scene so we can render that together. So what I need here is I've actually loaded an empty holder. So I'll select the building just to make sure I find the right one. And then I go to the holder that is actually keeping all my big buildings. So that is building 8_1, which should be actually this one here. Though if I'm unsure, I'm just going to hide that. And yeah, okay, that's the right one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick that building and group that under the holder that I just created. Where is that? 1 second. That's the only downside. It only always unfolds all that stuff. Okay, so here we go. There's the empty holder. I take my building and I drag and drop it under the body of that empty holder. So what I now need to do is I'll select the holder of the new body. Just you will see that up here where it's saying holder 14 body. And then I'm saving that by adding it to the library using the plus, right? And I say this is the building. So the reason why I'm doing it this way is it actually stores all the location, the size, etc., where that is being hosted in my scene. I'm going to save that. And now I'm making a new scene, complete new file, nothing in it. And I'm just now loading that empty holder with the building to my scene. You will not see it because it's currently looking at the main window and that thing is completely out of the range of the camera, etc. Now what I want to do is, as I said, I want to load to mount a spaceport. Now let me just pause and look up the spaceport in my. So I just loaded the platform. Oh, here it comes. Now, in order to assemble that ship on the platform, the most easiest thing here is basically to just simply load a ship where you have nothing modified as by now. Let me just take an aux cam, though that's probably better. Take a little bit more of a distant view. And let's load a ship. I think I want this to be my hero ship. So let's just load the hero ship onto it. And you can certainly let that ship lift a little bit or make it look that it flies. So here we go. There's my hero ship. Surely it wants to point to the front, and then it'll lift up a bit, and maybe swing. This way. And up, up, up. A bit more to the middle. Now, if you actually want, you can go and put lights to it. Now, I'm going to do that, even though I'm going to build a day scene. So I'm not sure if this is really going to make a lot of sense for the scenery that I'm going to build with you in this tutorial. But nevertheless, let us just do that. So we go to the space platform. And just let's load the platform spots. Now this will actually eliminate any other lights in the scene, but that's exactly what I want, because if you now go to show lights, you'll see all the platform spots. Now what I do is actually I group the platform spots under the body of the platform, which means they are now in togetherness with the platform. I just would like to adjust one or two of them because they're currently pointing at the platform but not on my ship. So let, for example, that swing up a bit. Here we go. And maybe one from the other side. And make it bright, of course. Like it 150, maybe 40 distant. Now, another thing is actually I'm going to pull the hero ship onto the platform as well. And now I'm going to take the platform and let's take the top camera. From top, here we go. Make it quite big. Well, it was probably a little bit too big. Here we go. And select the platform. Yep, come on. And let's rotate it by -90. And now we're just going to pull it towards the building. Of course, it's not going to fit right now. And now we're going to have top camera again. 40,000. We're going to go closer now. And now we just make it, just make the platform slightly to fit the size of the building. I'm not sure. We probably need to adjust it a little bit back and forward. So this is 20%. As you see, it actually scales the hero ship with it. And it also scales all the variables for the spotlights, which is very handy because that's just because everything is grouped together. But since we are now going to adjust that all together, it shouldn't matter to us anymore. So where's my building? Where is... So this is... And then we go 50 up. You see we are getting relatively close. That's a little bit of trying, and so we make it a little bit smaller though. And getting this to the middle. Closer. Just so that it barely fits, right? I mean, this is really now in the overall image, this is going to be a couple of pixels, so we don't need to be too overly accurate here. Let me just we can still adjust it. If we find out later on that we still would like to adjust that a little bit up and down, shouldn't be a problem. Okay, now that we have pretty much like brought it in range of the building and it's pretty much where we want it, we take the platform and we group it underneath the first holder. So we have everything under one holder now, right? Let me just go back to the top view. Here we go, it's all together, one holder. Just making sure again we have the holder and the body selected. We go back to my construction runtime here where we saved the first building thing. And now we're going to do the same thing again. Let's call it building 2. We want to save the whole group. There we go. And we'll go back to the first file that we don't need to save that because it's basically the arrangement that's been saved in your library. We're now going back to the saved file that we had. So here we go is the scene that we just put together. Hierarchy editor is going to come up in a second. Just don't be afraid when you load scenes that you saved and you've set a background previously. The background is probably not going to appear when you load the scenes again. That happens, at least to me. Not sure why, but that's just what it is. Now, what we need to do here, as soon as the hierarchy editor is coming up again, we'll go to the holder that we just created with the building that we put underneath that. And we're going to delete the holder. So let us just unfold that, and that, and that, and that, and this, and this. Here we go. This is the holder that we created. We have the building underneath that. Shift delete is probably going to delete the whole folder, the whole holder, inclusively the building. And now we're going to pull the building that we just fiddled together and saved into the scene, and will load exactly in the right place. And it should have the hero ship attached to it. Now the good thing is, since we have attached the spotlights to that platform, they're going to be added to the scene, and they are not going to replace my existing daylight that I already have in the scene. Takes a bit of a while, of course, but shouldn't be too overly complicated. As you see, the lights are already there. And here we go. So you see we have now the platform attached here. You see that the hero ship is nothing more than a couple of pixels. So if I would have added the lights or not, wouldn't probably have made such a big of a difference. But I just wanted to show you that it basically works now. Okay, so what I wanted to do is I want to render that piece here just to get an idea if everything fits together for that. So let's just go to the render settings. We're going to disable the indirect light piece here because otherwise it's just going to take a little bit too long. And let's just render a rectangle here and see how that fits. So here we come. So you see here's the building and here's my platform attached. So that's pretty much like what I wanted, right? I would probably not have needed the spotlights, but anyhow, I mean, this is the kind of small line that you walk to make a decision between detail and performance, etc. But I just wanted to show you the workaround and the way it actually works. Okay, so that is actually it. I mean, if you continue like that, you can add a hell of a lot of detail to the scene without actually being in the messy situation that you constantly need to fiddle around in one scene, and you have that whole complex thing all together. So if you just simply build your parts outside of your main scene, save them in your library, and then build your main scene and always pull in the additional parts in, makes it much easier to compile it and to get along. Okay, so that was my tip for today. I still hope you have fun with the product, and hope to see you soon.